Yo guys, welcome back to another video on the channel, and today I've got the best settings for Modern Warfare 2 and for ranked play. But quick, before we do get into today's video, if you are new around, be sure to subscribe to channel notifications, turn on so miss any more videos on the channel. If you do enjoy it, smash thumbs up and let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. But let's jump straight into it right now. Okay guys, so I'm going to sort of go over everything. I'm going to go through my graphics, controller settings, audio settings, all the sort of stuff like that, so you guys can sort of see what I'm using. I'm not going to go too in depth on the quality stuff because this is going to be dependent on what sort of PC you're running. If you're on console, obviously it's going to be standard, it's going to be set for you anyway. But we'll go through the display stuff and the view stuff so you can sort of see what I am running. But in terms of my display, when I'm playing ranked play, I run a full screen exclusive just because it's a little bit more responsive. You get slightly better frames, and that's what I go when I'm playing. But at the minute, obviously I've got it on full screen borderless. Full screen exclusive isn't a massive difference, but it does seem to make it a little bit more responsive. Obviously you do get slightly better frames as well. If you're struggling with frames, you definitely want to change it. Your display monitor is obviously going to be whichever it is you're running on. I run mine through an Elgato, so that's why it says Elgato for me. And then obviously your display adapter is going to be your graphics card. Screen refresh rate, you want to make sure you are running your highest one. I don't know why at the minute mine's saying at 59, it should be on 144. I'll make sure I change that, but make sure your screen refresh rate is whatever your monitor is. And then, of course, my display resolution is going to be at 1440 or 2560 by 1440p. If you've got a 1080 monitor, it's going to be 1080. And like I said, it's going to be down to your FPS on your monitor. Some people might have 270, I believe it is, 144 or 60. It's entirely up to you, whichever one you have got. I'll make sure I change mine to 144 before I get into a game. Dynamic resolution, I can't seem to change this, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. Aspect ratio, I have it on automatic. VSync, and both of them I have turned off. Custom frame rate limit, I have it maxed out at 150 because I have a, like I said, I play on 144 hertz. So I don't need to go anything above 150 because it's literally going to make no difference. So I don't need my computer to overwork itself. I'm going to max out at 150 frames. You'll see it in the gameplays that I play when I'm live on stream. In my other videos, I literally max out at 150. It stays there the entire time. But like I say, if you guys ever trying to limit your FPS because it overworks your computer too much, drop it down, drop it back up all the way so you can get maximum frames for your refresh rate. My menu stuff, I leave at 60 just so the PC isn't overworking. Again, in the menus, I don't need any more than 60. And then out of focus when I'm tabbed out and I'm doing something different, it's only on 30. So my display gamma is 2.2 sRGB. Brightness you can change to whatever you do like to have your brightness at. Mine's just at 50. I like it at 50. It feels nice at 50, so I just leave it there. Constrain mouse to game window is off because, like I said, at the minute mine is in borderless, so I can just go off my screen, go onto my second monitor, and just work things out like that. But when I'm in game, like I said, I do make it full screen exclusive, so I won't have that problem. And then my high dynamic range is on automatic right there. Like I said, in terms of quality, there's not really too much that I'm going to go into on this because it's going to be very different for everyone. I use NVIDIA DLSS for performance at 82 sharpness. But yeah, just make sure you are upping your sharpness on this because it is going to make a big difference, especially those longer range gunfights. The game's going to look sharper, a lot cleaner, making it much easier to see further away and win those further away gunfights. You wouldn't believe how much of a difference this does make. My video memory scale is at 90. This is what I run on a normal high, long, low, high. Bullet impacts on. You could turn them off again if you're struggling with frames. But like I said, this sort of quality stuff is going to be down to sort of what PC you've got and what your PC can handle. This is just what I run mine at. And like I say, I max out at 150 frames. It sits there the entire time. And I have no problem with it being there whatsoever. My on-demand texture streaming, I know some people have this on, but I have it off. Streaming quality normal. This is all on. Water's on. Normal, high. I have spot cache on ultra. Particle lighting on normal. Ambient occlusion I have on both. Screen space reflections high, static reflection quality high, weather grid volumes on ultra, NVIDIA reflex low latency is on, depth of field is off. I have world motion blur and weapon motion blur both off, as well as my fill grain at 0. It just makes the game look much nicer. I just don't like motion blur at all. I know some people like it. If you're trying to hit movement clips, it actually looks quite good on your gun, but just turn it off. Put your film grain at 0. And then in terms of view, I play on a 120 FOV. I know some people will be coming at me going, Harry, you should be playing like 105 in ranked play. I don't care. I like 120. I play 120, and that is what I'm going to run. Make sure your ADS field of view is affected. That means it's not going to zoom in when you are ADS. You're going to keep that 120 FOV whilst you are ADS. Weapon field of view is on default. Third person field of view is on 90. That doesn't make a difference. Vehicle field of view default. First person camera movement 100%, 100%. Third person ADS, and then game perspective for my default spectator camera. Okay guys, so moving on to audio, I have headphone bass boost. I know there is something that you can do that like really cranks volume. I haven't done that yet. I need to go get about doing that. My music volume's on 100%, which I'm actually going to change to 0 because the amount of times I load into a ranked game and I can hear music in the background. I'm going to turn that down to 0. Dialogue volume at 100, effects volume at 100, and then voice chat volume I have on about 46. But a lot of my stuff is done via my Go XLR, so I'll have my voice stuff and all that sort of stuff volume different. Voice chat is on, game voice channel is on all lobby, last words voice chat is on, proximity chat is on, set to that your default communication device or whatever it is that you run for your mic. I run push to talk because I don't like having my mic open the entire time. If I want to talk to people, I will push to talk and I'll talk to them. Microphone level 100%, test microphone, I don't need that on. Subtitles I have on default, all the subtitle stuff doesn't make a difference. Juggernaut music is on, a hit marker sound effect I just have on Modern Warfare, and a mute game while minimized I have off. In terms of my interface stuff, in terms of the stuff that comes up in the top left hand corner, as you can see for me, I do have my FPS, my latency, and my GPU temperature. I just like to make sure my GPU is not getting too hot because my room gets quite hot, so if I have to turn the AC on, I'll turn that AC on because it cools it down a little bit. So when it comes to your center dot, a lot of people do run this for ranked play. They have it on and have it on large or even largest, and it just basically leaves a little dot in the middle of your crosshairs at all times. It just stays in the middle of your screen from the whole time, so you can sort of start centering a little bit better. You sort of know where your gun's going to pop up if you're running around, if you're running full tac sprint. You know whereabouts you are ADS and where the center of your screen is. It can make it much easier to actually go about and hitting your shots and just being more accurate in game. And like I say, just centering after running around the map or anything like that. But in terms of that, other than all that other sort of stuff, doesn't really make too much of a difference. Hit markers obviously on. I have my minimap rotation on. Horizontal compass is on at the top. You can turn it off, but I just like having it on. And then the only other thing I do want to cover is controller. I do play controller, so I'm not going to go through keyboard and mouse because I can't speak on keyboard and mouse. I don't play enough. So for my button layout, guys, I do play tactical on both, on button layout preset and Warzone/DMZ button layout preset. Basically just switches your crouch and your melee button. That's all it does, but it makes it much easier for me. I do play with a scuff controller, so I have paddles on the back as well. I do use a lot of those, but like I say, just tactical in terms of both of them. My bumper ping is off. Flip LB and RB and all that sort of stuff is also turned off. Stick layout preset is on default. Controller orientation is up. Controller vibration I have off. You don't want controller vibration on. If you've got it on, you are absolutely tweaking. I don't know why you've got it on, but go ahead and turn it off. You really do not want to be playing with controller vibration on. Since I played 10-10, I've always played about 10-10, between 10 and 12. That's where I've sort of always played. I know a lot of people will say, again, as like with the FOV, this is Harry, you probably should drop it to 6 or 7. I don't like it on 6 or 7. I like it on 10. I do lower my ADS sensitivity multiplier, though, because it just means it's going to be a lot more slower whilst I'm ADS. It's not going to be as cracked around. So when I'm jumping around corners and running around the map, I can look around nice and quickly. But when I am ADS, it does slow itself down, making it much easier to track people and hit those shots. In terms of sensitivity multiplier, you can see it's all 1 there. Vertical aim axis is all on standard. My aim down sight behavior is on hold. Obviously, you can have it on tap, but I don't really know anyone that plays it on tap. My change zoom shared input is sprint, tactical, sprint, focus. Automatic sprint, I always have an automatic tactical sprint, so I don't just spam the hell out of my log stick. I can just push it forwards, run about. If I was playing with something like a shotgun, then maybe I'd turn this off because it means I can hip fire better, but it's very rare I'm hip firing in ranked play. Equipment behavior is on hold. Weapon mount activation is ADS and melee. Prioritize reload, and the reason I do this is because the amount of times in ranked play when I'm sat in a hard point or something like that and someone's rushing me and I'm trying to reload but I'm just picking up guns all over the place, it does my head in. Make sure you're changing this to prioritize reload, so every time you do tap your reload button, it's going to make sure it reloads before it even thinks about picking up any other guns. And then armor plate behavior, I have on apply all for Warzone. In terms of my advanced, target aim assist is turned on. Aim assist type I have on default. I know a lot of people used to run Black Ops, but I believe default is now what everybody is running, and that's the best one to run. Third person ADS correction is on assist. Aim response curve type is on dynamic. I run like I said, I run an ADS sense of 0.8. ADS sensitivity is instant. Custom sensitivity per zoom I have off. I'm not too worried about that. I like the way it feels when I'm just as it is like that. Input dead zone. Dead zone is going to be different for everyone. If you do have a bit of stick drift on your right stick or your left stick, you just want to knock it down a little bit so that it's not going to be spinning around, and just sort of mess about with this until it gets to a point where your controller isn't spinning your character around or moving left or right. Just mess about with it until you find that perfect sweet spot. It's going to be different for everyone. And then in terms of this, I have gyro behavior off, gravity vector on. This is both set to 1. But these are all my other settings, but like I said, my gyro behavior is off as of right now. But there's everything that I do run if you did want to go ahead and copy those down for the same as what I do. Then we get some movement behaviors, and there's a couple of ones that I do want to get you to change in here. Auto move forward I have off. You don't want that. Single tap run is going to be tactical sprint behavior, but remember I have automatic tactical sprint on. Grounded mantle is on. I have my automatic airborne mantle on partial. It just means every time you jump, if you run towards something, it's not just going to throw you on top of it. And I see a lot of people actually have this on still. So when you're running up to like a bit of head glitch, you're just going to jump on top of it, and it's really annoying. You don't want that at all. Change it to partial. So when you're jumping towards something, it's just going to help you get up it. Automatic ground mantle is off. In terms of invert, slide, and dive behavior, have this on inverted. This is a big one. I spoke about it in my last video, which is teaching you guys how to snake in Modern Warfare 2. Change this to inverted inverted because it just means you're going to have to tap the crouch button and you're going to dolphin dive, because sliding is pretty useless in this game. Nobody really slides. So change that to inverted, and then one tap of the crouch button, you are actually going to dolphin dive. Plunging underwater is movement. Parachute auto deploy out of on off. Sprinting door bash on. Ledge hang mantle behavior is on mantle only. ADS stick swap is off. All that other sort of stuff is off there. As you can see, weapon mount movement exit is on. Weapon mount exit delay is on medium. Depleted ammo weapon switch is on. And that's sort of all that I go over, guys. But yeah, those are the best settings for Modern Warfare 2 and the best settings for ranked play in Modern Warfare 2. If you guys did enjoy today's video, be sure to smash thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, notifications on if you haven't already, and I'll catch you with the next one in a bit. Peace.